There's an excitement that comes with seeing women participate in Nigerian politics, as the political terrain in the country is one that leaves little room for the female gender. The empowerment of women in politics should be encouraged in order to get more women involved in running the affairs of the country at different levels. One woman who has been making big strides in Nigerian politics is Mrs. Dayo Benjamin Laniyi of the All Progressives Congress, APC, who has joined the senatorial race in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. The aspirant, who is an ordained deaconess, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Management Consultants, and a certified management consultant, will be hoping to secure the ticket to represent the All Progressives Congress, APC, and go against the incumbent Senator Philippa Duda of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the FCT Senate seat in 2023, a position he has held since 2011. Joining us on this show, as we discuss what she intends to do differently if elected senator come 2023 and changes she hopes to implement, is Mrs. Dayo Benjamin Laniyi. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Thank you very much. And may I respectfully say thank you, Uncle Ruben Abati. For the rest of the team, it's really a privilege and a blessing to be here. Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria.
Good morning, and thank you very much for honoring our invitation. Well, Senatorial ambition, FCT. What's your mission, and how strong are your chances?
Well, you just articulated for me the strength of my chance. It's a time of celebrating, profiling, and distinguishing the position of every woman in not just the political race, but space for the Federal Republic of Nigeria that translates to every woman and her gender parity across political spheres in Africa and for Africa. It's a very significant position and time. The opportunity is ours. She who dares wins. And that time has come, it's now. And profiled from our Breaking the Barrier expression from March 1st, clearly, what was supposed to be a negative turn in the parlance of faith, we say, what was meant for evil has turned around for good. So what the women went to do at the gate is bringing us into positional power through the vote and collateral courage to run in this race. And I am so privileged to be the poster girl for this movement and advocacy. So yes, right now, the chances are beyond chances. It's our time. Breaking the barrier has happened. And I'm a representation, a cross-representation, even across party lines. But I'm so privileged to be on the platform of the ruling party, the APC, who has given very distinctive, deliberate, and intentional opportunity and expression to every woman to run from the place of providing for us the affordability by budget, the investment by intentional leadership and will, the backing by Her Excellency, our First Lady, and of course, more than anything else, a tribe of women, a she tribe, who are fierce, female, and ready to define that the future in the Senate of the FCT is female and altogether red. Thank you.
Right, beyond gender, what do you have to offer to the people of the FCT that perhaps the incumbent Senator Duda has failed to deliver?
Well, I'm not going to take off on the point of failure, because what the distinguished senator represents is the very reason and the power of what I'm coming in for. The biggest issue in Abuja is the issue of the indigene, non-indigene, and all of the divisive rancor that it has created, particularly in the political space and defining the political architecture and the will to run for that incumbency that he has enjoyed for 12 years. The truth of the matter is this: the Federal Capital Territory is a national estate. However, we have to properly recognize, position, and address the issues of the indigene in such a way that the parity and dignity of their cultural assignment and identity is not overwhelmed by the fact that the non-indigenous settler, those of us who have come in, I've been in Abuja for over 30 years, and has given all of us possessional distinction as well, positional distinction as well as prosperity through entrepreneurship, professional, administrative, the civil servants, everyone coming in here. All of my 4 children are FCTarians. And so the issue, therefore, is one that reconciles that. What I represent, therefore, as an incumbent first and foremost, is a voice that brings a non-negotiable unity to the Center of Unity Abuja and helps us to rescale, even as we reset this issue in a way in which the divisiveness is taken out and the architecture of the indigent and non-indigent is brought to a position where we recognize the national integrity of who we are as FCTarians, because that is what FCT represents. So first and foremost, it's addressing the issue in such a way that it brings unity, peace, progress, as defined by a national polarity. Then, when it comes to the issue of providing for us as entrepreneurs in the city and those engaging that distinctive opportunity to make a difference through what we invest, not just as entrepreneurs, not just as investors, but more particularly for the socio-economic turnaround of our city and profiling when it comes to its global position. FCT Abuja is the #1 conference city, a mandate city, when it comes to defining motions as well as positions of the international community and for Africa. The voice of the FCT is a voice of Africa all over the world. So whatever is distinctive here becomes distinguished everywhere. So when it comes to that, I'm looking definitely at all of that representation. For me, in the space of advocacy, when it comes to the girl child and her education, as well as the boy child and his skill set and innovation, creative distinction, this is very big for me. You're looking at the 62 wards, 6 area councils here at the local government level in Abuja. It's a full integration of turning what is infrastructurally a deficit into what becomes a collective, connected investment in pushing forward the infrastructural development of Abuja. So therefore, when it comes to my position, it's more about a transition to something that is bold, that is fresh, that is innovative, and takes what has been limited because of its own positional reference on the indigent arrest to what becomes a more global intervention through my position and my opportunities by way of stakeholder representations, relationships, and connections.
Okay, Mr. Benjamin Lani, good to see you again. I want concrete solutions.
Thanks, Hi-Fi.
To this problem as regards, the Aborigines, the indigent, because it's a big problem in Abuja. It's dividing the FCT as we speak today. So what are going to be your concrete solutions? And you talked about the fact that incumbent, uses it. And what are your chances, really? Because a lot of people looking at you will say, hey, the Aborigines will say, oh, she's probably from somewhere else. But that shouldn't be the case. So the concrete steps to find the solutions. So take, for instance, do you concur with the solutions put forward that they should even create 2 more senatorial seats? That's what some of the Aborigines are saying. To be able to balance the equation in Abuja as we speak today, the FCT. What are these, fine solutions to the problem?
When I get into the Senate, I'll speak as a lawmaker. Right now, what I'm going to prefer comes from the position of a direct advocacy. We have to define, Rufai, what the legislative framework of this is going to be. Definitely working with what is a very deliberate strategy to come into that position. We are articulating with my team a very strategic legislative framework, a conversation in Pali. I'm not able to tell you directly it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And not because I am shying away from this, but because directly we're in a contest. And I'm not about to give my own wheat to my competition. I am not to throw what I'm planning to do into the public domain for its own conversation and reaction to. But definitely, right now, it is something that I can say safely requires a legislative address. Because, Rufai, you've said it. It is so divisive right now that it goes contrary to the whole expression of FCT as the unity, capital center, and city of this country. True leadership must address in truth and in a bold, visible articulation what the interventions need to be. Talking about the issues that have been recycled again and again, the mayoral, of course, the fact that we need more Senate positions and all of that. All of these can be properly engaged in conversations that bring it to the center at the Senate. And like I said, when it comes to that, I am fully ready, representing the indigent and the non-indigent. It's not even about indigent, non-indigent. It's just about the fact that our diversity as Nigeria must be properly identified, recognized, because I can say this much. If getting a mayoral position is just about an indigent for an indigent, then we have already gone contrary to what the definition of Abuja is. We have to restitutionally go to what has not been done properly, like you said, for the Aborigine, and find a way in which converting that into a conversation, scaling it to a position of action, will bring us to a positive engagement of unification. Now, there will always be separate sides of any argument. But if we look at Lagos, the center of excellence, you find that everybody is in that center working for the common exponential good of a city. Abuja needs to be introduced, reintroduced to the indigent and to the non-indigent in such a way that even the non-indigent, and the argument that Abuja is in no man's land, that's an absolute insult. Abuja is not in no man's land. I've been here 30 years plus, and I know who I saw. I know the mothers I saw bent over, carrying the wood and all of their wares from the farm as I came in. And I said, who is that? And they said, that is a Gbagi woman. Now, I'm a poet, and something about that resonated with me. But what I saw, even though there was this beauty, was beauty of pathos. It was beauty of something that had been denied her rather than done to build her up. Right now, what the advocacy, therefore, for the Abuja unity reference needs to be is one that brings us together and not one that creates arguments that puts us apart. So the issues that have been recycled are not the issues, it's not the same language that I intend to use, no. But I'm definitely going to be a visible voice, speaking for voices, speaking not just for the voiceless, but being able to articulate the issues that really are challenging the social development of who we are as FCTarians, of who we are as a citizenry at the center, and what we represent in terms of the opportunity to distinguish the FCT both as indigents and non-indigents. So it's holistic, it has to come together, and that is what I'm completely committed to, Rufai. Thank you.
Okay, well, I like your courage, your determination, and your confidence. But in 2014, ahead of the 2015 general elections, Ajia Ireti Kingibe tried to do precisely what you're trying to do now. She wanted to run for the senatorial seat of the FCT. But before the election, she had to withdraw because the difficulties, discrimination against being a woman, the challenge of Gwari nationalism, or what you call indigenship politics, which has sustained Philip Aduda, not just in the last 11 years. Philip Aduda has been in that National Assembly since 2003. And he was born in Abuja. He speaks the people's language. He knows everywhere. Okay? But then it becomes very difficult for a non-Gwari person to make considerable headway. Are you already, seeing some difficulties ahead? Or do you say you don't want to talk about the negative? What are the challenges that you are beginning to see going forward?
Well, I think the rehearsed recycle challenge is just the same thing you've said, that when it comes to the incumbency, it is who we see the distinguished Philip Aduda. When it comes to the issue of indigenship, it's the same challenge. But you know what? This is a different champion. I say this with every sense of humility. And even like I said, thank you for saluting the courage. But really, I just see that it's time. Now, first and foremost, let me reset the understanding about Uncle Philip Aduda's position. It was a woman who got him there, his mom. And Mama was an advocate and a mobilizer, not just of politics and polity, but of the advocacy of women in every space when it came to being a voice. One of those privileged women, me. Mama loved me to the point that she will hold me to her belly and bless me and tell Uncle Philip, this one now your sister. She will see me coming and she would teach me again that the way in which to gather and take points out there was to gather women. And in the year about, what was that, so many, I've forgotten how many, 15 years ago, Mama sent me buses just to support a cause I was doing at the National Eagle Square for Nigeria. So when it comes to Philip Aduda, it is the power of a woman, his mother, that positioned him into everything that has taken him there. It's time for him to let his sister and his mother's choice take over. Having said that, the fact of the matter is that when it comes to transitions, through the mobilization of women, we talk about the challenge. The advocacy of women in the FCT right now is one that has come to an incredible push for the delivery of positions of women there. I want to respectfully doff my hat for Auntie Ireti Kingibe, and also I'd like to acknowledge Auntie Kairat Kwadabe. Auntie Kairat, who was senator, had one of the most distinctive records of providing intervention all over. Auntie Ireti Kingibe is someone who has remained defiant in the face of running again and again. You know why? So that people like me, Adedayo Benjamin Lani, would have the effrontery and the audacity to get up in 2022 and say we are going for the seat for 2023. I celebrate and I doff my hat to them. Ahead of me aspirationally, in this race at House of Rep level, we have people I want to celebrate like Amanda Pam, Abiodun Esiet. Right now with me in the Buhari South, I have the aspirant Mariamu Issa Buaru. All of these are expressions of distinction. Yesterday, I had the opportunity of going out with our national woman leader, Dr. Betta Edu, with a host of other women leadership. And you know what? The expression was she positioned me right there and introduced me to the emir and said, that is our FCT, Senatorial Woman of First Reference. All of these distinctive opportunities, connections, encouragement, and engagement don't just give me encouragement, they give me audacity. And the audacity of the now is not just for a woman, it's for the youth. It's to mobilize every patriot to do what they must do, not just at the point of delegate, but at the delivery of that which in them is their desire, their differentiation, and their hope, true hope, unity, faith, peace, and progress for this nation. The first line of the second verse of our anthem says, O God of creation, direct our noble cause. There is a noble cause. Who am I not to present myself, not just for the ballot box, but for the delivery of those national aspirations? I represent something new, bold, and fresh. And the most incredible thing is I'm having people come into a demographic of getting themselves registered to vote into the party of the APC to port. I'm getting people moving from their cities or re-establishing their polling booths for Abuja Come FCT. And that is why, for everyone who's watching out there, from the stakeholders to anyone who knows one of our leaders, go ahead and let them know I am the winning ticket for the APC. Tomorrow, the opening declaration, the official declaration, is taking it to that next level. And yeah, like you said, the power of courage is also the empathy of our humanity. I've found out that, you know what politics really is? It's human advocacy at the highest, purest level for people, for community, and for legacy. I am so privileged to be where I am after 30 years, not because I just woke up one morning and said I'm going for it, but all of a sudden with the understanding that collaterally I have been prepared for this. In the FCT, my goodwill is not just a good name. It's a proven, demonstrated engagement that has built enterprise, that has developed initiatives, advocacies that cross faith, that cross gender, that cross the power of governmental engagements. Yes, I'm celebrated as a voice, as an MC, master of ceremonies, but see what's happening. It's resetting what a voice can and must do in their own time. Why? Because they're not just a voice. I've been an ear to hear. Transdispensationally, it has been my privilege in Abuja to serve different dispensations of leadership not just one. And in prime time, it has come to such a time as this where I can serve not just nation, but the party, the gender, the youth, and the following that truly boldly represents not just hope, but that defiant audacity to go and get the job done. But first, get the seat, get the ticket, get the delegates, get that courage. Along with me, let's run and let's do this.
And yet, we haven't heard one concrete project. You've talked about the girl child empowerment, how? The boy child, how? Specifics. If you're challenging an incumbent, you need to be able to state why he should be challenged. If he's doing so well, he's your uncle, and you are close to his mother, he's part of this political dynasty that you just referred to. He's also an indigent. Why is it that he should be replaced?
Okay, Sundu. May I respectfully rephrase, when I call Uncle Philip my uncle, it's not a bloodline uncle. Out of our Yoruba respect, cultural respect, that's what he is. And yes, I do have that connection with his mom. Talking about the projects, when it comes to the advocacy of education, as demonstrated through what I did at the Government Girls Secondary School, and through that into other institutional representations during the COVID, setting up what was a portal for the study and delivery of curriculum and engagement for the less privileged, indigent girl child, which extended actually not just for them, but others within the FCT. And that itself became a project which has UN award status, but within here in the FCT, it's one that has given me an entry to working with persons with disabilities, with their school curriculum, with their initiatives and everything. So education is very big for me. Health also. In terms of water, for me, the project Water is Life is one that is very sacrosanct to developing not just the environmental consciousness of the STD delivery of sanitation, but more importantly, working towards the agroeconomy and developing what is an opportunity for people through water to grow the economy and enterprise in their own spaces. Also, connecting it to health. We have a big issue when it comes to issues of the mortality rate and also the delivery of health within the sectoral reform centers of our FCT wards. This, for me, is something that is priority. And also, when I talk about health, we're looking at the aspect of the emotional ratio of the emotional intelligence, mental health therapy. Because of what I do in terms of counseling with people and people reaching out to me, I've seen a lot of the wrath. I've seen a lot of the anger that is happening. I have a case right now. I haven't brought it out yet to the media, but we're handling it. It's actually sibling violence and a sibling assault. And we realize that it's not just one, it's not just two. I have another case, which is a case of a young lady whose both eyes were gouged out by another family member. These issues, right, all directly connect to the fact that we have a significant challenge when it comes to emotional health. For me, therefore, engaging the emotional health issue is very, very is a priority and one that I have to follow through. I spoke about education in two expressions. I'm a mother of sons. For me, therefore, when it comes to issues of the security challenge and people talking about the terrorists and they talk about people being Boko Haramists and all of that, I have challenged us as women, as mothers, and I asked the question, what happened to our sons? The people you call terrorists, the people we call kidnappers and rapists, all of these have proceeded, have come from a womb. When you look at the womb and the mother and the woman and a strategic place of engaging community and turning those issues around, what did we do wrong? Where did we miss it that we gave so much attention to the girl child that somehow we left our son child, put him aside, and he became an expression of so much anger and destruction, and therefore has become the pawn when they're being used for thuggery, political thuggery, and national destruction. And because of that, I found out that working with the boy child and growing them into men, and from men into leaders, demands that we engage them at the place and position of their innovation, their creativity, and investing in that energy and turning it into what they are able to create wealth with. Guys want to hammer, just like the girls. But because the girls have got so much attention, I'm now working on skill set development and acquisition for them. And that has been very big with what we do.
Real quickly.
So,
Thank you so much for your insight. Real quickly, recently, the Emir of Kashi came out to say that if we don't deal with the problems, and people around don't deal with the problems as regards the Aborigines, the indigenes, then the violence will continue. And you know that violence. Across the satellite towns in Abuja, from Kachis, to other parts of Abuja. And that violence is systemic and is constantly seeping in. Despite the fact that Senator Aduda has been there for so many years, the people still feel very marginalized. So I'm just wondering how you're going to pull it through. And what do you intend to do for these satellite towns that, no matter what you think, still feel left behind? Look at places like Lugbe and the likes. No infrastructure or anything.
You're talking about Lugbe. There are places called Cabo. There are places I've gone round. And the truth of the matter is, in the 30 years of my being in Abuja plus, this experience has exposed me in ways and engaged me through all of those 62 wards, the 6 area councils at the local government level, to people, to communities, and to not just their needs, but more importantly, their pain. There is a lot of anger. There is a lot of anger in Abuja, not just at the level of the youth, but even at the level of the political hierarchy, of the leadership within what we have around us. And why? Because they feel there's been a complete disconnection. In fact, what they say is like, we've been used and we are like political orphans. The reality is this. Philip Aduda is a minority in the Senate, working with the majority who have not yet understood, because it has not been scaled to that point of engagement and understanding, that this is critical. And like you said, Rufai, it's a crisis that even right now is happening, and if it is not addressed, will end up disintegrating into a contrary presentation across every tribe and threatening, therefore, the security at the center of our nation, Abuja. I have an advocacy project that for me is a litmus test and expression. And what it simply is talking about using happiness, GDH, above GDPs. When you're able to address people through the point of their need and not just feed their bellies, but create for them real opportunities through real human connection. I don't speak Bagi or Gadara. I don't speak the Hausa as eloquently as I need to speak. But I found in going to meet them over and over again, I speak a language of truth that meets them at the heart. To the point now that the indigene speaks to me in a language of truth, rightly dividing, and what they are negotiating with me is simply this: will you really, truly represent us in a way we have not gotten that representation in 12 years? They look at me, they've heard me, they've seen what I've done and what I am doing, and for them, they are posturing that she could very well not just be a woman, not just be a model and a prototype of change, but indeed, she could be a winner for us, not just for herself.
But you've not stated what you're going to do.
Over and over again is...
But you've not, you see, in all of this, yes, great rhetoric, but you've not stated what you're going to do. Because these things are very intricate.
It is working, Rufai, it is working with the architecture there. I am already in the 62 wards. I am already in the 62 wards working with teams that build up institutional engagements that start from speaking, hearing, and then working through. It is not here and now, Rufai, for me to say specifically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But again, let me repeat. I have gone round, this is like 4 times, engaging, working with them. First of all, even getting the issues was the first thing. I didn't go myself. I got a team to go and engage with the people one-on-one. What exactly are the issues? What, not just looking at threats now, what do they need? Because people don't care how much you know or what you want to do and represent until they know how much you care. And for me, that has been the spot-on place of engagement, working with the institutional architecture of the 6 local government councils, their leaders, their ward leaders, their leaders also, not just politically. We have to work outside of it just being a partisan drive, to it being an engagement of people from the place of their cry. And that is what I've been doing, working with them and initiating, as it is, those projects that engage them and their trust, their commitment that we can actually believe in this representation for us as one who will not just speak, but who will deliver on a promise and bring it to performance. I'm talking to them about the schools. I'm talking to them about their farming. I'm talking to them about advocacy for women and the skill sets that we have to use to develop the youth, so that in terms of their education as well as their entrepreneurship. I spoke with an Ibrahim the other day, Ma. He said to me, Ma, what I need and what I want is my farm. I just need a farm of about 1 hectare. Just let me have what I can do to create an economy, to grow my seed and to grow my economy where I am. The power, therefore, of the institutional architecture in the FCT is what I am using and what I am driving with. Working with their own issues, with their needs, and turning what their needs are into my strategies for my manifesto and delivery. Tomorrow, at the official declaration, I believe certain things with a clarity I'll be able to properly profile. But today, what this is about is creating a full umbrella representation and expression of the intention, not just an expression of interest, but an expression that intentionally, one, identifies what the issues are, the needs to be clearly articulated and worked with are, and then coming to that place where it is structured into programs, into projects, into people with the pursuit for the delivery through the law and the polity of the Senate. Because it's not just about the constituency projects, it's about constituency policies that will actually bring into effect what is advocacy and what through advocacy can be a reform from the position of law to the enactment of community spaces in the FCT. Above all, like I said, it's a GDH. And this has actually been profiled at the UN level at the Institute of Happiness, where you have the GDH directing the GDP of economies. The gross domestic happiness of a community is directly related to the gross domestic product of that community. So what makes the elder, the person with disabilities, the woman, the mother, the girl child, the youth, that son, that old, aged, retired farmer, as it were, what makes them HAPPY? Not just as a feeling, but as a very deliberate project that through that project gets them to generate a value chain of connected socio-economic activity as well as socio-economic relationships. This is how we are looking at it, project by project, but not as project first, as people. Connecting the people's needs, the people's outcry, the people's complaints to designing the projects and the intentional purpose that we are planning to deliver. And I didn't want to have to say all that because I did exactly want to expose the whole strategy, but that's what it is actually. It's about meeting the people, getting what their issues are, and translating them into very clearly articulated strategic projects that are going to be implemented. And when we talk about implementation, it's not implementation that just flies like a pie from the sky. It's implementation that works with teams, because that is what I do and I have done.
Thank you so much.
I am an entrepreneur. I work with teams. I work with the youth, and I engage them and bring them to that place of delivering what in them is
Thank you
their
so
project
much.
and their dream.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Yeah.